Good day, Bob here at Weldnrust, and as you can see, we got a nice, great big gaping hole where the floor used to be. Consider this an archaeological, how do I put this? A metalworker's archaeological excavation, in the sense that you don't just dig everything out, you take off a bit at a time to find out what you're actually working with, what you can keep, what you can't have to get rid of. So that's why this is going to be a bit of a video involved in not just cutting everything out, but why you cut things out, the way you cut them out, to find out where we're at. And that way we got some plan as to how to put things back together again.
So let's walk you through what we're going to be doing. Okay, start with, most of this is going to get cut away. I'm going to try, I'll probably have to cut away most of the floor first to get at it. This has got to go. Floor has got to go. What I'm going to do down here is where there's a bend right here, and this is still fairly solid. So I think I'm going to put my cut line here, and that's where my new metal will basically plug weld to this. But I got to get this all nice and clean, and that means that has to go. And I'll walk you over here. I haven't tacked them in yet, but I found some bar stock. So we're going to weld some bar in here for strength. And over here, underneath here, in there, and there. And that's going to keep this whole thing from moving this way. Hopefully it'll stay solid. Here's a really annoying part of this job. It's actually easier for me to bring the camera in to show you where I've been welding, because I've been welding. Hope it looks good to you, because I can't see it except through the camera. But I basically have to reach my gun around and guess where I'm actually going to be welding.
Well, boys and girls, now it's time for plasma chiseling. This should be fun. Hardest part is figuring out where I'm going to start. Good thing some of the rust has already taken care of it for me. Alright, away we go. Little information, plasma cutting does not like going through 2 layers.
My hope was to save this piece in here. I know the other one on the other side is rotted. I might try and replicate it on the other side as a repair patch for that section. But at least now, I got something to go by. I want to try and save what's left of this. It's only just hanging on by a couple of strings of metal, if you want to call it that. But the reason being is so I kind of know I've got a guideline to where this is supposed to be. So I really don't want to cut this right off, even though it would be easy. All right, break out the grinder. Okay, so here's our little lesson. I cut this plate off to give me some access and realized in order for this to work, I gotta cut right in behind in here, right through here, in order to remove this section, in order to get in behind to cut in between where these two are. Because, and I'm not even sure how well it's gonna work, that might be double wall and it may not plasma cut through. Even so, even have to get a grinder through there, I can't get my disc through here. Disc isn't deep enough to go through. Which means this has gotta go, oh yeah. Demolition learning curve. Here's something to keep in mind when trying to decide whether to use a plasma cutter or the cutoff wheel. It's the actual cost of the consumables. This, even though you go through them a lot quicker, are cheap. The tips for the plasma cutter, they can get kind of pricey. I think a set of 5 would set you back about, I'm going to say 30, 50 bucks, at least Canadian dollars. So if you're going to go through them, it's probably more economical to use a disc. You'll notice when I was cutting through here, it was start, stop, because that was because my tip was telling me it was time to get changed. So I put a new one in and I decided I think I'm going to stick with the cutoff wheel where I can. I'll use the plasma in spots where I can't get at it, but this way should be, shall we say, a little bit more economical. Well, as you can see, cutting this off was a complete waste of time and consumables, because once I get past here, all through here, straight across, the whole floor is all nice and loose. I'm not going to make that mistake again on the other side. Hold on a minute. It's not a mistake. It's oxidized ferric archaeological excavation.
Oh, what joy we have working with rust. All right, now that the floor is out, we can get another idea of what we've got to work with here. As you can see, this is just barely hanging on, and it's pretty badly rotted. The other side, it's nowhere near as bad. Well, yeah, I take that back. It is pretty bad too, but it's a little more solid, marginally. All right, so I'm going to rethink this. I think what I'm going to do, because just to give you a heads up of what's going to happen, I'm hoping to use the floor out of the Sonoma for most of it. But when I did my measurements, the actual firewall for the Sonoma is actually going to sit forward several inches. Just for the footwell, just gives me a lot more room in the cab. So this whole mess here probably isn't going to touch. I want to keep this. This is solid structure. It's also my control point. Okay. The actual, I did some measuring, and this point to the center of the axle on the original frame is what, 19.5 inches, give or take. So this way I've got something to measure to from this when I go and matched up with the Sonoma cab. So, but this crap, I think, is just better off just cutting this all right out. Gotta love working with old cars. One of the things I noticed, the other door is actually really good. This one, I think, has a twist in it. Telltale. It's the gap up here, along this back part of the door is fine, but along here, this door corner, this edge is further away than it is on the other side. This, as you can see, is pushed out. On the other side, the door and the sill here are flush. This is in about 1/4 inch. So what that tells me, oh, you won't see it, but there's a little dent in here which tells me this thing got hit. Let's not even talk about this damage that's sitting over here probably affecting it. So what I suspect has happened is this door has gotten twisted, so we'll have to get retwisted. When I build my frame on here, I have to take that into account. So the gap, when it goes together, is going to be farther here than it is on the other side. So hopefully when the door gets straightened out, everything will be the same on both sides. So that means I just make the gaps down there the same. I try to keep down at the bottom, they should be the same. So that's going to determine where this is going to go. I got to build a new corner for this. I might just, this is so rotten, I'm thinking I'm just going to cut this off and build new because I'm not sure where the new floor is going to end up anyways. And same with this crap down here. So yeah, I think we'll just get at it and start cutting away some more. Yeah, I know, it would have made sense, just cut everything away right away, but you don't really know what you're going to need. So that's why I'd rather go a little at a time and then do it more often than to cut too much off and, okay, where do we go from here? Anyways, back at it. Why bother cutting when you can just bend it off? Oh, nasty. But I'm glad it worked this way because I can now see where this structure is. And that's still solid, so I can work with that. and I know where I gotta build new stuff. Yeah. Oh. And no, I was just talking to my son-in-law about this one, and apparently, I can't remember the last time I got my tetanus shot updated. I need to talk to my doctor about that. God, I love the patches they put in. Just screwed on. I'm just playing a game right now to see how much I can actually do without actually breaking out a grinder. Gotta play games like just to make things interesting. Nasty. So now I know what I gotta cut off on the other side. And no, I'm not gonna get away with peeling that off, it's a little stronger. Typical Canadian cars, most of the rust is on the driver's side. So my new plan, I'm going to do some cutting what I'm pretty sure I have to cut. It's easier to come up from here, see how far, and then start bending things around to see what else I got to cut around, and hopefully minimize the amount of cutting I got to do. Well, that worked fairly well. Now I can see what I got to work with. So here we are at the end of this gaping hole. So hopefully we are going to start doing more construction, not destruction. At least that's the future plan. So yeah, a lot more fabrication involved, new fabrication, which should be a lot more fun than this rusty crap. Anyways, thank you again for watching and subscribing. We'll see you later. Bye for now.